What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, and I'm back at y'all with another one. So, as you see here, Oscar De La Hoya, who had a very great career as a fighter, Olympic gold medalist, 6th division champion, Hall of Famer. Oscar De La Hoya, as a promoter, had the world in the palm of his hands. And he continues to destroy his legacy as a promoter when he had the entire world in his hands. He had the whole world in his hands. He had the whole wide world in his hand. He had the whole world in his hands, Oscar De La Hoya did. And Oscar De La Hoya is ruining his promotional company, Golden Boy Promotions. Oscar De La Hoya has 3 big name fighters right now: Zora Ramirez, Ryan Garcia, Virgil Ortiz Jr. Ryan Garcia can't wait till his contract is up and said there's no way on this green earth he'll re-sign with Oscar De La Hoya after his February 21st showdown with Mario Barrios. Zora Ramirez got a fight coming up May 2nd against David the Mexican Ecuadorian monster Benavidez, which he'll probably lose, and his career start taking a turn left. And he's left with Virgil, who's committed to him. Virgil wants to fight a fight that Oscar clearly does not believe he can win. And so Oscar doesn't show any confidence in his fighter. He's doing anything in his power to try to destroy the opportunity and the fight and make it fall through between Virgil Ortiz, who is 24 wins, no loss, no draw, 22 wins by way of knockout, and the Phenom, as I refer to him as, in undefeated former unified IBF WBA Ring Magazine welterweight world champion, now WBA junior middleweight interim and title contender, Jerron Boots Ennis. And I get it. I call him the Phenom for a reason. But Virgil and his dad and his team kicked up this dust. And His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh was willing to put the money up. And Virgil said he agreed twice. Jerron Ennis is the one that turned it down because he had other goals. Oscar's not happy that His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh got the ball rolling on this fight, because it put Virgil under a microscope. Because Virgil said he was willing to make the fight twice, and then he said he don't duck nobody. And so now Jerron Ennis is in his face, literally, after his last fight with Erickson and Hammer Lubin. And he's like, let's make it happen. And Virgil's like, I'm not turning nothing down. Let's make it happen. But the ball got started rolling because Turki Al-Sheikh actually made it a reality when he started putting the money up for the fight to come to fruition. Oscar's not happy about that because Oscar don't believe that Virgil Ortiz can beat Jerron Ennis. You have to keep in mind, Oscar understands these types of styles. He faced Pernell Whitaker where he got a robbery victory over Pernell Whitaker. He watched Pernell Whitaker and Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., and he got robbed again, Pernell Whitaker against Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. He watched Floyd Mayweather. He lost to Floyd Mayweather, right? He saw Floyd Mayweather beat Canelo Alvarez at 37. He saw 37-year-old Terrence Crawford beat Canelo Alvarez, jumping up essentially 2 weight classes, 3 weight classes, technically 2. He understands these styles. He watched Zurdo Ramirez get beat. He watched William Zepeda, who he didn't really believe was going to beat Shakur Stevenson. Thought he was going to rough him up. Shakur fought his fight and beat him. He understands Jerron Ennis' 5'10", 74-inch armies, can switch from southpaw to orthodox, athletic, explosive, fast hands, fast feet. Virgil is vanilla. Very solid fighter, technically sound, but he's vanilla. And Oscar understands. Oscar don't want, I get it. Oscar don't want this fight. But the way he's going about it, it's abundantly clear he don't want the fight. But he's alienating his fighter and making his fighter understand and look at him sideways with all the antics that he's trying to pull because he's going against his fighter. And so Virgil's manager, Rick Marinian, said Oscar can talk about destroying the fight and killing the fight if he want to, but we still gonna make the fight even if we got to go to a different network. If we got to, auction the fight off to somebody else. And then he said, if somebody out there is willing to put up the funds, we willing to negotiate. We want this fight. Virgil wants this fight. Now Oscar is changing his tune, as you see here, and saying he got his lawyers to contact Rick Marinian and telling him to stay in his lane. And now he's saying he was bluffing to try his best to get Virgil the A side and as much money as possible in the fight with Jaron Ennis. Now he's saying he was bluffing. Now he's saying, I'm still negotiating with Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn. No, what happened here is that Rick Marinian and Virgil Ortiz decided, listen, if you don't make this fight, we are going to get about this contract. We're going to do whatever we have to do to get away from you. And DAZN already told Oscar and Golden Boy Promotions if they don't make this fight, they will not renew their contract. And there is no more networks. There is no networks that's giving nobody a budget. HBO's done. Showtime is done. ESPN is done. Okay, Amazon did a deal with PBC but gave them no budget. It's just a distribution deal. They just showcasing their fights. And so now Oscar is talking. Now Oscar stated that he stopped talking to Eddie Hearn. He had no conversation with Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn, who promotes Jaron Ennis, came out and said he hasn't heard anything back from them. They keep stalling. Now Oscar is saying he's the one he's negotiating with Eddie Hearn as we speak. And Rick Marinian needs to stay in his lane and stay, focus on what he needs to focus on, right? Because he's negotiating with Eddie Hearn. Now you negotiating. I thought you said they had 24 hours and it was over. I thought you said it was 60-40 deal or there was no deal. I thought you said Virgil had all these other options. Virgil don't want no other options. Virgil believes in himself. And you making Virgil look bad with your antics. Because people are going to believe Virgil has the power to force this fight to happen. And so Virgil and his team, Rick Marinian, is saying, you know what? We do have the power and we're not going to let you make us look like fools, even if we take this fight and lose. Now Oscar's having a bow face and talking about he's negotiating the fight and all he's trying to do is get the best deal possible for Virgil. No, you wasn't. Partially that may be true, but mostly you don't believe that he can win that fight. And so you was doing everything in your power to be a roadblock. And because Virgil and Rick Marinian, through Rick Marinian, his manager, came out and said, listen, no, we're going to take this fight with or without Oscar. Now Oscar trying to backtrack. It's nasty work, man. It's clown behavior. Sport of boxing. And Oscar talking about Dana White and TKO boxing. Nasty work, bro. And that's all I got for y'all, man. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. I'm gone. Peace.